I chose to modify the list rather than create a new list. I looped over the daily engagement table, and for each row I first created a new key, account key, and set it equal to the existing value stored under the key ACCT. Then once the value had been copied, I deleted the ACCT key from the dictionary. And I'll go ahead and run this code. It doesn't have any output. Now if you chose to create a new list, that's fine, but if you gave it a new name, you'll need to update the rest of the starter code to use your name instead of daily engagement. Now that I've changed this field, it will be easier to write a function to get the unique students from each table, so I'll go ahead and do that. First, I'll move this change up above the previous investigation. Since I'd already run this cell, it actually wasn't necessary to move it up, but this will make it so that if I close the notebook and reopen it, the code will still work if I run all cells in order. Then I'll insert a new cell below this point and write my function there. I'll name the function getUniqueStudents, and it will take one argument, the data. My code here looks very similar to the code I wrote before. I'm first creating an empty set, then looping over the data and adding each account key to the set. And finally, I'll return the set of unique students. I could also have gone one step further and returned the number of unique students, but I happen to know that later I'll want to have access to these sets, so I'm going to return them and store them in a variable. If I hadn't known in advance that I would want the sets later, then that wouldn't be a problem. I could just change this function later. Then I'll update the later cells to call this function, and I'll rerun the cells to make sure I get the same results. Finally, I'll run this command I told you to run to double check that renaming the column worked. And sure enough, the account key field is now present in the daily engagement table.